Welcome, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Bob, it's all you.
Thank you. I just want, for the record, I want you to know we had a 3-page agenda, but then Councilmember Holheisel added a whole lot of items, so appreciate that.
You're just adding to the taller than a Tuttle stack.
Yes.
We needed some extra mental exercise.
Exactly, right. Bring your lunch and dinner. So we have 2 proclamations and 5 people on the public agenda. On to page 2, number 1 under council business, new council business. This is a letter of intent with Textron for 5 years of IRBs. Let me see, to support equipment purchases and facility improvements at the Textron facilities throughout the community. It's estimated that they would issue $527 million over the 5 years in IRBs, and that they would add 500 new employees over that 5-year period. That's all I have on page 2. On page 3, this is a letter of intent with a group called Union at Purple Heart Trail, a limited partnership, for $35 million in IRBs to support the construction of 240 affordable housing units at Douglas and 127th Street East. Number 3 is the sale of about 14,000 square feet of land adjacent to the Hyatt Hotel, and it's a sale to them for a fair market value that's been determined to be $217,440. That was from a broker's opinion. The money, the park board heard this item twice and approved it at its second meeting, and has recommended to you that the money be returned for improvements at A. Price Woodward Park. Number 4 is a contract with IMA. They were selected through a competitive process to assist with the design and administration of the city's employee benefit program. Number 5 is good news, and this is the continued sponsorship of Bike Share ICT by Blue Cross and Blue Shield for 2023, and that's over $300,000, I believe, in sponsorship.
Woo-woo.
Yep. I can't remember who started that. Number 6 is approving the construction of a replacement fire storage facility that was included in the approved CIP. Number 7 is approval of a 3-year agreement with the Teamsters for public safety employees at the airport. This agreement has been approved by the union membership. Number 8 on page 4 is approval of a 3-year agreement with the International Association of Firefighters for fire employees, and this agreement has also been approved by the union membership. Number 9 is approval of your 2023 state legislative agenda. Included in that is approval of the joint legislative agenda with the county chamber partnership and REAP. I can pause right now. Marley is on the call with us. I don't know if there's any questions you have for her at this point. Anything you want to talk to her about or mention? Marley, I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about. It's obviously you put a lot of work into getting to this point.
Nothing besides what is on the agenda. The joint legislative agenda is as agreed to from the city, the county, the chamber, REAP, and the partnership. And then the chart on the next 2 pages are the Wichita specific agenda items. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
I want to thank all the council members for having input into this. This is probably the earliest we've done it, and probably the most complete process we've had to date. So.
We'll find a way to mess that up.
Great. Well, we have plenty of time on Tuesday, so sure, feel free to do that.
We have nothing else to talk
That's
about.
right. Yeah, that can dominate the conversation. Thank you, Marley. Number 10 is authorizing submission of a grant application to FEMA for floodplain relief in the Caskin Creek watershed. This also would approve a joint funding agreement for these improvements with Sedgwick County. This is the second time we've submitted for this grant. We received good feedback after our first application was not accepted, or it was accepted but we didn't get an award. So we think we've made appropriate changes to make this more competitive. Pretty significant project for flooding issues on the west side. Number 11 is approving funding for various water and sewer main improvement projects in 2023. Number 12 is approving funding for improvement projects that are primarily associated with special assessment projects, but are not necessarily included in the special assessment districts. For instance, an adjacent intersection would be an example of a project that would be included in this funding source. Page 5, number 13, this is to approve a petition special assessments in the Sycamore Pond addition. Number 14 is approving a pilot project to test the effectiveness of a new waterline rehabilitation process that could be utilized going forward if it does prove to be not just effective, but cost effective. Number 15 is our regular quarterly financial report, but in addition to that, there's an ARPA performance report. So we'll be giving you information on what's transpired so far, especially with the outside agencies that we funded with community initiative ARPA dollars. Number 16 is approving the allocation plan for the home ARP funds to address affordable housing and homelessness issues. And this comes out of the discussion you had at a workshop previously. Number 17 is recognizing current concerns we have with landlords accepting our housing choice vouchers, and this would allocate $250,000 in available ARPA funds for providing specific incentives to encourage the acceptance of those vouchers. That's all I have on page 5. Oh, go ahead.
I haven't read through the green sheet or the report yet, Bob, but was those bonuses intended for individual landlords, individual units, individual properties? How do we decide that?
Based on your questions, the initial report has been amended to clarify that a little bit, but if you, Sally could also give you a
If it's in the report, I'll read it later, but thank you.
All right. Page 6 and page 7 and page 8 and really the top of 9 are all planning items that are non-consent planning items. I don't know if any of you want to talk about any of those that are in your districts. We've got a few, I think, in District 6. By the way, the number 2 on page 6 is District 1. I don't think that was listed in the summary. If no one has anything to add to any of those, we'll go to page 9. Number 1 under non-consent housing agenda would approve an application to HUD for the disposition of 37 scattered single-family homes from public housing. We've talked about this at length, and so now that we're taking the step to get HUD approval for the disposition or sale of those properties. Nothing else on page 9, nothing on page 10. On page 11, 4A is our annual agreement with Sedgwick County for the funding of the Wichita Valley Center Flood Control Project, and that includes the MS Mitch Mitchell floodway. 4B is a cost-sharing agreement with KDOT for the installation of fiber along Kellogg Corridor. Page 12, 4C, there are actually 2 contracts on here, 2 firms that we're recommending for on-call electrical services. And this provides electrical repair work for city facilities. It's a 1-year agreement with 2 1-year options. Number 7, actually numbers 7 through 10 are items that are intergovernmental agreements for joint law enforcement efforts. And we'd be glad to answer any questions you have on any of those specific items, but most of these are continuations on programs that we've approved in the past. Number 11 is a slight adjustment in the ARPA contract that we have with Heartspring. It was to provide child care assistance. They're simply changing their delivery method for offering the child care assistance, and it doesn't change the dollar amount, the dollar allocation. Number 12 is the issuance of $10 million in IRBs for 75,000 square foot spec MRO building at Capitol Flight Line. That's all I have on 13. On page 14, it's issuance of $14.5 million IRBs for 159,000 square foot spec warehouse building at 40th Street North and Webb Road. Number 15 is a $2.4 million IRB issue for a building addition and renovation for a plastic surgery center. Estimated addition of 10 employees as a result of this project. Number 16 is the issuance of $4.8 million in IRBs for advanced catastrophe technologies, new corporate headquarters, and the creation of 10 new jobs. And believe it or not, that is all I have, Vice Mayor.
Any questions or any comments from anyone? Happy reading. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Yes. Oh,
Whoa, thank you. Look who snuck in the room. Thank you. New Police Chief Joe Sullivan is here, and Joe's hit the ground running. He's been here for now, a couple of weeks, I guess. And he's done a number of interviews and met with some community groups already. So, Joe, I don't know, anything you want to say?
It's glad to be here. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Welcome to Wichita.
Thank you.
All right. Vice Mayor, that's it.
that's it. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everyone.